baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for Game 2 of this 4-game series. Orlando Cabrera gets set to lead it off. And right now 7-11 and time for the first pitch. As there's a strike, and tonight's game time start is presented by 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. There's a strike in the count 0-2. Cabrera comes in hitting at .232. It's a couple of homers. He's driven in 16. He was 0 for 4 last night. A's 19-30, hitting at .239 as a ball club. They have a 4.57 ERA.
And the difference in the performance last time by Bartolo is that he threw some pitches other than a fastball. He threw a little slider and it worked well.
As that's trouble. Cabrera makes a turn. He's on his way to second base, and he will get there with the leadoff double.
Colon stayed away with the first couple of pitches, and then he tried to sneak one by him inside. And that ball was inside off the plate. Cabrera does a nice job of bringing the hands in, still getting the good part of the bat on the ball, and he takes it down the line. So an ominous way to start this first inning.
That's a tough pitch to keep fair right there, and he did it. So here's Adam Kennedy. He's off to a good start at .372. Out in front, Bartolo picks it up, guns it out. So the sacrifice 1-3.
Well, that shows you how Bob Guerin knows his team is playing. Number one, they haven't hit the ball out of the ballpark. Number two, you take your .372 hitter, the hottest hitter on your ball club by far, and use him to bunt Cabrera to third base. So they're playing for the run early, and with that in mind, Ozzy's going to bring the infield in.
For Jack Cust, CUST. Jack hitting at .251, 7 homers. And 26 driven in. High. Pibes got room now, makes the catch. So Cabrera will score. Now, I'm not so sure that Kennedy didn't do that on his own right there. I don't know if you're going to, as you mentioned.
I wouldn't think you'd bunt your hottest hitter.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially with the lefty-righty advantage coming up, but it got home the run, and the Athletics are on the board first.
They got on the board first last night.
Didn't help them.
2-run homer by Holiday, top of the first. As here he is hitting at .275, 7 homers. He's knocked in 30. He also doubled last evening. 29-year-old outfielder. And that is out of play right side.
What he's been doing is taking fastballs and going to right and right center field with them. And if he gets something off speed or you miss, in the case of Gavin Floyd last night, he missed with a slider. That's the ball he tries to pull.
Well, he's quite a ways off the plate, so you can do that. You can adopt that philosophy if you're off the plate. If you're a little closer, very hard to do it. Is he gone? And that'll do it. But the leadoff double by Cabrera comes around to score after half inning of play. It's the A's, one and the good guys coming to bat.
leading off with Alexi Ramirez, Jermaine Dye on an 8-game hitting streak, Jim Thome the DH, Paul Konerko, AJ, Wilson Bedeman, Dwayne Wise, and Jason Nix rounded out. The Lowe's defensive setup and how they will set up behind Mazaro. Holiday, Sweeney, and Cunningham left to right with Hanahan, Cabrera, Kennedy, and Giambi. Kurt Suzuki, an athletic catcher behind the plate, and Vin Mazaro on the hill. This is first major league start.
Youngster out of Rutherford, New Jersey. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours, as there's first pitch down low from the 6 foot 1 inch, 215-pound right-hander. And the count 2-0.
You've got to make him get the ball up because he's a sinker baller and he's got a little more on the sinker than we saw last night from Trevor Cahill.
There's the strike in here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gap, send 400 straightaway center. It's fouled off the siding of the LG Skyline Club seats.
And Mazaro got that one up there at 94. He also will cut his fastball into the left-hand hitters.
That's chop foul.
On this, the 10th anniversary in the major leagues for Jeff Cox. He starts off this game by booting the first play.
He didn't want any part of that one.
No.
None.
You know, maybe in his 7th year, but not in his 10th.
And Tide's a little bit tardy right there, so the count hangs at 2-2. Sox coming in 25-25, hitting at 256 as a club with a 4.28 ERA. Tide's working him out right here.
I think Holiday's a little deep in left field because normally Pods is not going to hit the ball that far unless he hits it in the gap in left center.
And there's a breaking ball. So a full count by Pods, and this will be the 9th pitch of this at bat. So that should help out Alexi on deck a little bit.
That was ball 4, but sometimes a little hard to lay off of, especially when you haven't seen a pitcher at all.
Well, Pods fouled off a lot of pitches. Now he's in that swing mode.
He's in the swing mode, sure.
There's a shot right back through the middle.
Well, Vin Mazaro will always be able to say that the first man he faced got a base hit. Only when he tells the story to his grandchildren, it will be a looper off the bat just out of the reach of the shortstop.
Or he might say, well, Ricky Henderson got the first hit off me.
One of the all-time greats.
Here's Alexi. He was 1 for 4 last night. Takes that pitch inside. Alexi hitting at 253, 3 homers. He's driven in 23. And he and Scotty Pods have formed, well, since they have been the 1-2 combination, we're 8-2. And the count 2-0.
And Suzuki goes out there now to settle down the youngster. You have a tendency when you have a whole lot of adrenaline, and again, this is a sinker baller, and sinker ballers are most vulnerable in the first inning. You have a tendency to overthrow the ball. Now he's getting it up there 94, 95. We were told he could do that, but you prefer that sinker in the 91, 92 range because you get more movement on it.
And there's a souvenir right side. Well, the adrenaline flow right now probably is as high as it's ever been for Vin Mazaro.
And you can understand that. I mean, this is exciting. He's 22 years old. They really have a young staff. In fact, all 4 of the guys who are going to start games in this series against us are rookies.
Well, last night Trevor Cahill's 21. Mazaro 22. Outman tomorrow 24. Anderson on Thursday 21.
Yeah, Outman's the old guy. 24 years old. So the question is, if you're Bob Guerin, the former catcher, You're going to let him make his best move on a hit and run situation.
There he goes. Suzuki with not a chance right there. Pods picks up his 4th stolen base, number 240 in his career.
Well, he doesn't give him the best move at first, and it cost him a stolen base. And Suzuki doesn't make a good throw. But Scotty Pods gets a tremendous jump. That's a very slow delivery. The high leg kick from Mazaro. Pods is in there. The only question is, would he overslide the bag? And he didn't.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, lays off of it, so he's got a full count. And this will be the 16th pitch coming up to the plate from Mazaro. And there's a little looper right to the second baseman. And that's out number 1. So with 1 out, let's check out our Heineken picks to click tonight. Mangio, our Hall of Fame director of the crew, went with Jermaine Dye, Lisa, Steve, and Layla. They're going to go with Jim Thome, Bob Rosenberg, Rosie, the official scorer here, doing his 2000th game tonight.
Absolutely astonishing. Number 1, that he's been able to keep a job that long, and number 2, that he's here for 2000.
Oh, that's cold.
Well, he's going to throw out the first pitch, I think, on the 11th of June.
That's cold. As there's strike 1 to Dye. Anyway, Rosie and I are going to go with Betterman. Heineken picks to click. Watch out, they're going to get it.
That inside move is a good one, but I'm not sure where Scotty Pods was going. You've got Dye and Thome coming up. You're already in scoring position. And by the inside move, instead of whirling around, Scott wasn't even going on first move. He was just going.
So they pick him off. And the single and the stolen base goes for naught. And that pitch low to even the count of 1. Jermaine hitting at 280, 13 homers, 35 knocked in.
It really helps Mazaro because it puts him back in the windup.
And that ball into right field. So the base hit by JD.
Sinker ballers get the ball up. This is what happens. And what later will be knee-high fastballs now are belt-high fastballs. So instead of ground balls, you're getting line drives. That's one of the reasons why getting taken off the bases early when you have a sinker baller on the mound doesn't work out real well for you.
Here's Big Jim Thome, number 550 last night. If you missed it, a biggie. A 3-run blast in the 8th inning. Big hack at that one. And the count 1-1. Sox added another one. Jason Nix walked with the bases loaded. Sox win that ball game 6-2.
Last 7 games, Jim's been red hot. Driven in 10 runs.
Good check right there. So the count 2-1. He's been doing a much better job of laying off that inside pitch from the right hander. Boy, he was just underneath that ball. Had left field bleachers written all over it.
This ball is just above the belt on the outer portion. Jimmy just misses it.
2 out and the 2-2 pitch. So a full count.
Falconerco on deck if Jimmy can keep it alive.
Jambi now moves back, 2 out. And there goes JD. And there's ball 4. So JD will just make a turn, token turn, and it'll bring up Paulie.
There's a look at pitching coach Kurt Young. He's going out there now before anything bad happens to tell Mazaro that he most likely is overthrowing the ball because he's keeping everything up. That's not his game. And in fact, last year when he was at Double-A and he really reached his comfort zone, he was 12-3 with a 1.90 ERA.
He was 15-6 last year.
And then they moved him to Triple-A, where his ERA was a whole lot higher than he would have liked at 6.15. But he was pretty much learning about his own stuff because he's still a very young man, got a great arm, and he had a somewhat meteoric rise through the system. His first professional year was 2006.
So here is Paulie hitting at .303, 7 homers, 33 knocked in. Took that pitch nicely. Breaking ball low and away. Well, Mazaro is throwing a lot of sinkers where he normally would, starting them off there, but because he's pumped up, amped up, they're just not sinking.
They're staying up. Very
hittable. Going too hard. Good check. Big check. 2-0. That's the greatest thing. One of the greatest things, let me rephrase it, that the hitter can have is a sinker ball pitcher out there who's amped up.
Well, that usually happens in the first couple of innings. That's why you have to take advantage of it when you have it. And the Sox have it this inning.
That is high in the right center. Ryan Swinney makes the catch. That'll retire the side. So the Sox thread and can't score after 1-0 Athletics.
Most unhittable. Gavin Floyd has been terrific. Should be better than 1-1. Bartolo's thrown great. Mark Burley has had a terrific year anyway. And John Danks is 2-0. By his own admission, he can throw a little bit better than that. Not record-wise, but certainly ERA-wise. But the starting rotation going as they have make the bullpen that much better.
Well, there's a progression in baseball. There's a shot. Foul ball. Thank you very much off the bat of Jason Jambi. With the premise going on the premise that the bullpen today, the game of baseball has evolved into a battle of bullpens. That's who's going to win this division. That's who's going to win almost every division. It's the team who has the best bullpen in August and September. So the one thing that can protect your bullpen are the starters. They can protect your bullpen by going longer, like Tampa Bay did last year with their starters and their bullpen. Now, what can protect your offense is the bullpen, because your offense is only as good as your bullpen. If the bullpen is porous, it's going to put too much pressure on the offense. They can't execute. Paulie, yes.
If you're playing on the line, it's pretty tough to get it by Paul Konerko, and he was on the line, especially after that first line drive. This one not quite as high. You see where Paul is. And he makes this play easily.
So here is Kurt Suzuki, 0 for 4 last evening, hitting at .278. A couple of homers. He's driven in 17. Suzuki real solid behind the plate as he takes strike one. Last year hit .279, 7 homers, and knocked in 42.
He's got one of the most prolific work ethics of anybody in baseball, but certainly on this team. And they talk about it in almost reverence, saying this guy is tireless as far as a worker is concerned. He's terrific behind the plate. He's phenomenally athletic. Moves great to his right, especially.
That's into center field. Well, players today have it's a different culture. They have a different work ethic than in years past, players of years past. For an example, last night I was walking out of the clubhouse probably about 20-25 minutes after the game had concluded. As here's Ryan Sweeney. He was 1 for 3 last evening. So as I walked through the clubhouse, I walked through the weight room. There must have been 8, maybe 9 guys in there working out. I mean, 30-40 years ago, first of all, you didn't have a weight room.
Well, also they were, at that point, a lot of them were sitting around and talking about the game and perhaps enjoying a beverage or 3 or 4.
Well, I wanted to. There's a little comebacker to Bartolo. Nice inning, 1, 2, 3. And after an inning and a half, 1-0 A's. $30, $40, even $50 years ago, you know, I mentioned 8 or 9 guys in there working out 25, 30 minutes after the game. Well, back in my day, we would have been over at O'Hara's Pub 25, 30 minutes after, especially if we had lost. So that's the difference. These guys are in there working out, working very hard, staying in shape, and especially guys who are not playing every day.
And another difference, Hawk, is the guys are 12-month athletes these days, and it used to be when there wasn't a whole lot of money in this game that guys had to get a job in the offseason. Now, it's been a long time since that's happened, but now guys work out year-round. And when they come to spring training, almost without exception, these guys are in shape.
As A.J. fouls that one away. Well, you're preaching to the choir there. I was one of those guys that had to get a job, because when the minimum salary is $6,000, I told you my first year in major leagues, I made more playing golf and pool than I did playing baseball. That's foul back. You got to moonlight.
Well, you had to for quite some time, and then of course it has swung the other way. But athletes have longer careers these days, and they stay healthier longer for the most part.
That little breaking ball hit to the shortstop. Cabrera's got him.
Book a White Sox group outing or party area today. Save on each ticket for a group of 20 or more fans. Warning track, fan deck, or individual game diamond suites are available. Book a group outing or party area today. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
So here's Betterman hitting at 209. No homers. He's driven in 3. Takes ball 1. Then Mazaro out of Rutherford, New Jersey. Major League debut. There's a 2-0 count.
What you'd like to do is get into that much used athletic bullpen.
And the count 3-0. There's one. Gap out there in right center. Pretty good pass right there, just underneath it.
Talked to Kurt Young, the pitching coach, and he said with the youth of this rotation, they want to make sure they limit the pitches. The most they've gone with a pitcher this year has been 108 pitches, but I wouldn't expect to see that much out of Mazaro tonight.
Well, there's another thing that's just absolutely, to me, very, very, it's hard to understand. You take these guys, you sign them out of high school, you sign them out of college, you're pitching twice a week in college, twice a week in high school. Because they're the studs. They're the guys that you're going to sign to play professional baseball. So these guys are going out there and they're throwing 140, 150 pitches in a high school game. They're coming back later on that week and throwing 120, 130.
Most of the time, yes.
Well, if you check, now there's a shot foul. I'm going to go back 8 or 9, 10 years. That there was a survey done by some magazine, whatever it was. They found out that after the young pitcher sign got into professional baseball, if they were throwing 93, 94 in high school or college, a year after they were in baseball, they were throwing 90, 91. Because there's ball 4, so the 1-out walk. And the reason being is they go out and sign them, give them all that money and say, well, you got, $8 million invested in this guy. We got $5 million invested in this guy. We're going to put him on a pitch count. He's only going to pitch once a week. He's going to throw 80 pitches a week. All of a sudden now, that bicep muscle just starts shrinking up, and all of a sudden that 92, 93 mile an hour fastball is not there.
Well, there's another factor too, and that is that if guys come in with a big curveball and they can't get it called a strike, they give them a slurve or a slider. And then if they are high in the strike zone, they give them a sinker. So if you're throwing sliders and sinkers, it's going to take velocity away from you, because the hardest throwers in this game always were fastball, curveball pitchers.
Well, the biggest factor, and the point I'm making, is the fact of non-throwing. They don't throw as much. They don't throw long throw like they did in high school and in college. They don't throw as much. They're throwing probably close to 50% fewer pitches per 2 starts than they did in high school and college. As there is the ball upstairs. So the count 3-0 to Dwayne Wise.
That was the one thing that I agreed about with Johnny Saint. And that was he felt that pitchers should pitch, and they should pitch often. They should get off a mound. They should throw long toss. They should exercise their arms.
And there's ball 4. So back-to-back walks to Betterman and Wise.
And there was a lot of things that he did that I wasn't too crazy about. But the idea of a pitcher pitching is just like sprinters. When they ask you how you run fast, it's by running fast. You have to sprint in order to continue to keep up that speed. And with a pitcher, he has to continue to keep stretching out his arm and exercising it. And I agree with you 100%. is I think if you get a guy who's, let's say, 20 years old, and I'm not talking about the 18-year-olds you get right out of high school because they're going to half-season leagues. You do have to protect them a little bit. But once a guy gets developed, and a 21-year-old certainly is, he should be able to handle 110, 120 pitches.
Jason Nix takes ball one. Well, Johnny Sain he didn't think pitchers had to run. He was one of the extremes in that respect.
That I
here comes Young.
Yeah.
Whereas you take Ray Berries, who was a fabulous pitching coach with the White Sox for many, many, many years, he believed just the opposite. He believed that the more you ran, the stronger your legs were, the stronger your arm was going to get.
And that I believe in. I believe in a lot of throwing, but I also, like most of the Oriole pitching coaches over the years, they believed in running. And it didn't matter how you wanted to run on your own. They wanted you to run as a unit, as a team. And they ran alley to alley. They would throw you a baseball, but you would run every day. And if you weren't pitching tomorrow, you'd run 16 of those. If you're pitching tomorrow, you'd run 12 of those. But you did run every day, and I think the key to pitching is strong legs. That's never, in my estimation, going to change.
1-0 the count to Nix. Jason 0 for 3 last night with an RBI. That ball hit hard, dead gummit right at Sweeney. That's a hang with him for Jason. Hardest hit ball by far we have hit tonight so far, and there's 2 outs. And it'll bring up Hyde. He lined a single back through the middle, stole second base, and then was promptly picked off.
So far the rains have held off. It is a cool night.
I saw, I believe, 11 pitches in that at bat, so he's seen everything that Mazaro has.
Well, Mazaro can't get a breaking ball over yet, and he can't get a straight changeover. So if you're a hitter, you're looking fastball and taking everything else.
But as you mentioned earlier, is that he just ate him up right there, pops him up. So once again, Sox threaten, can't score. We've stranded 4 through 2, and we trail it 1-0.
With 2 ballpark hot dogs for the price of 1. Visit an All-Star concession stand during the first hour after gates open. For White Sox individual game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
First pitch low and away to Aaron Cunningham. Aaron is 2 for 24 since being called up. Takes a strike to even the count at 1. He was 1 for 4 last night. Former Sox farmhand.
Last night he took some good swings, but
yes, he did.
It was apparent that he had a long swing.
Yes, he did. He took some good swings. You know, getting back to Johnny Sain, though, he was a coach here with the White Sox from 1971 to 75. And Johnny Sain was a guy not unlike Don Cooper. I mean, Johnny Sain took some guys who were reclamation projects, turned them into big-time pitchers, good pitchers.
One of the things he did do on strike 3 was, Hawk, he could take a guy who had had success before, lost it for whatever reason, and then help him regain that success by just tweaking him. I mean, Jim Cott went into that real speeded up motion on suggestion from Johnny Sain.
Well, another thing he could do as well is he's the only pitching coach that we ever played against that you could tell when a pitcher had worked with Johnny Sain because of the slider. He could take a guy with virtually no slider and turn him into a slider being his best pitch.
Controlled breaking ball, as Johnny would say many times. He had this little gadget that he would show you.
Yeah.
And he'd tell you about, well, you put your hand this way and then you turn it a little more and turn it a little more. And eventually, you can throw it over the plate.
As that ball hit into left field, Pides is there. Well, notable pitcher that he took that everybody always knew had great ability was a guy named Earl Wilson, who pitched for the Boston Red Sox. And he never came close to fulfilling his potential. He threw hard, had a decent breaking ball, but he had pretty good control. He got with Johnny Sain and all of a sudden turned into a 20-game winner. Cabrera fouls that one with the slider.
Well, I remember Leo Mazzoni was the greatest proponent in the modern day of Johnny Sain's philosophies.
Well, he had some pretty good guys to work with.
Yes, he did.
Nice 1-2-3 inning. Bartolo's retired 9 in a row. Blackhawks, and congratulations to them on giving us just a wonderful season. Had Jonathan Taves, Andrew Ladd, Brent Seabrook, Adam Bush, Troy Brower, Patrick Sharp, all coming out here, and Ozzie giving them some tips. What I like about this, though, is the fact that these two organizations, the White Sox and the Blackhawks, are creating a bond. That's fouled out of play. Now, the best I've ever seen at that was in Boston. The Red Sox and the Bruins had a tremendous bond. They hung out together. Bruins would come, the ones that lived in the area would come to Red Sox games. Red Sox, when they lived in the area, would go to the Bruin games. And that same kind of bond here is starting to be created, and I like it.
Well, what I like is the fact that I really believe that the baseball players have a lot of respect for the hockey players and vice versa. I mean, they're two very difficult games, two different games, obviously, but the guys who play it, and there are very few who make it, have a lot of respect for the talent of the other guys.
Well, in all the celebrity tournaments that I've played in, which have been a bunch over the years, my favorite guys to play with were the hockey players.
They were the best players.
Well, they were the second best players.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about behind you, but for the
no,
most part.
I was talking about baseball players. Hockey players were like Pierre LaRouche, and Dan Quinn was a good player.
Mario Lemieux was a very good player.
Mario had more talent than anybody out there. Mario Lemieux had more talent than anybody who played out there. John Elway had a lot of talent. Of course, Rick Rhoden was the player. Rick, baseball player, won a ton of them. As here is Jermaine. Jermaine had a single in the right field. But I just like the bond that is being created here, and it's a good thing. We had some cross-advertising between the Sox and the Blackhawks, and that was good. I'm looking forward to doing more of it in the future. That's inside. 1-1 to count. Two balls and a strike.
Mazaro basically is doing this tonight with just one pitch. Now, he hasn't had the kind of control that he normally has, as you can understand, where he'd be a little nervous.
Yeah.
Hasn't gotten the breaking ball over.
That's a chop foul by JD.
What he has done is shown a very good moving fastball that has topped out today at 94.
Well, you can see with the movement that he has on that hard sinker why he was successful. And his walk ratio was good for a youngster coming into professional baseball.
Well, I think normally he's going to have very good control. This night the exception to that.
Ball hit hard right at Adam Kennedy. So that is out number 2.
Join the White Sox Kids Club. Members receive ticket coupons, White Sox tattoos, and much more. Visit WhiteSox.com to join the Kids Club today.
Here's Jim Thome. There's that breaking ball down and in right there. Jimmy drew a walk. Right here, you're trailing by 1. There's 2 out, nobody on. They have a modified shift. Second baseman Kennedy not as deep as most of them play. Attaboy Jimmy. Boy, if Jimmy ever gets to the point he can lay off that thing right there, which he's the last 4 or 5 ball games.
He hasn't swung at anything low and in.
If he makes him get the ball out over the plate to him, you're talking about a man who can do some serious damage to you.
Well, here's a pitch that he's going to be looking at, but Suzuki's called a changeup. And he knew he had the 3-0 green light. Well, 2-1 green light.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Outfield spread out. Big gap in right center. And that ball is flared left. And Holiday is there, makes the catch. And that'll retire the side. So a 1-2-3 inning for Mazaro.
question: who was the last A's position player to be selected to the All-Star team?
It's a 1-0 open lead here in the top of the 4th inning. Kennedy, Cust, and Holliday to face Bartolo Colon. Kennedy had a sacrifice bunt after Cabrera led off the ball game with a double down the left field line, and that bunt paid off when Cust flied out to Pods and left. Kennedy 4 for 16 lifetime off Colon.
Kennedy, for a little guy, has an uppercut swing, and that's most unusual because you don't see that too often in a guy that's not going to hit a whole lot of home runs. But that would make it pretty difficult for him to hit a letter high fastball.
Well, there are home run hitters, and there are guys who hit home runs.
Home run hitters with morning track power.
Well, home run hitters are home run hitters, guys who hit home runs. And then you get the third category, guys who want to be home run hitters. That came back. He gone.
Well, Bartolo's had a good moving fastball, and he throws it at the right hip of the left-hand hitter. They give up on it. It cuts the inside corner. Look at the movement. And A.J. put the glove right there. He helped steal a couple of inches on that one.
Yeah, if he goes out and gets that, he's not going to get the pitch.
I mean, that was a good catcher taking a pitch 2 inches inside and stealing it for his pitcher.
Because he let it come to him.
Yep.
Cust. Now, this guy is a home run hitter with an upcut swing.
He can hit it as far as anybody.
He hit 33 last year.
In that ballpark, which is a tough place to hit home runs.
That's better since they enclosed it. But when it was before the enclosure, it was it was tough, especially at night. That's outside 2-1. And it is 2-0. Oakland.
You're going to come with a fastball to Cust. You've got to throw it up high. If you don't, he'll do that. And that's his 8th. And he's got both runs driven in. A Ford home run replay is a fastball that's just a little below the belt and gone.
So here's Holliday. He struck out swinging on a fastball. Takes strike 1. Out of here. Oh, 0-2 to Holliday. Outfield straight up. And Alexi's got to hurry. Barehands it, can't make the play. So it'll be a base hit.
Holliday's a big man. He's 6'4", 235. When I talked to Mike Gallego, the third base coach, he was talking about the best base runners on his team. And he mentioned 2. And one was Matt Holliday. The other was Ryan Sweeney. And he said despite the fact that Holliday's a big man, he can move down the line. That's what necessitated Alexi to come in and try to barehand it.
That'll bring up Giambi, who lined out to Konerko. Holly playing off the bag. And 1-0 the count to Giambi.
Giambi's grounded into 4 double plays, and Bartolo would like to start sinking the ball because he's not getting too many ground balls. If he gets one here, it's going to be 2.
Giambi in his career has faced Bartolo 29 times, has 8 hits, 6 of which have stayed in the park. And the count 3-0.
Well, here's a guy that does have the 3-0 green light. When you have over 400 home runs, you've earned that privilege.
So he strikes out Kennedy. Cust with the home run. Baltimore chopped single, infield single by Holiday. Now the walk. The first walk of the game issued by Bartolo, and that'll bring up Suzuki. Kurt Suzuki flied out to D. Wise in center. Bartolo in a jam, trailing 2-0 here in the top of the 4th with 1 out, 2 on. Suzuki takes it right there. Ground ball. Can they turn it? Nope.
Alexei came across the bag and actually had to throw over the top of Giambi. This looked like it was going to be 2. It didn't work out that way. See that sidearm toss? He could have stayed over the top. That's when you have to make a base runner get down.
Well, if he's willing to come in standing up like that, you got to throw it right at his helmet.
And that will get him down.
There's a strike. He did not get a lot on that throw, so hopefully it will not hurt us. And if Giambi gets hit in the head, it's his fault. Sweeney with a 1-1 count. That's out of play. While we have a moment, I want to send out a big White Sox hello and happy birthday to Peter Pagatti, who's 10 years old today. A big Sox fan. Happy birthday, Peter. And that's with a lot of love for Karen Walker.
It's good to bring your glove to the ballpark. You never know.
The 1-2. That's low. 2 out runners at the corners. That is popped up. Nix makes the catch, and it'll do it at the home run by Cust. And we'll go to the bottom of the 4th. It is 2-0. Bad guy.
selected to the All-Star team? And the answer, Ramon Hernandez. That was in 2003.
And let's take another look at the replay of Giambi going in to second base. Now watch, Alexei is getting a good relay right there from Nix. And you see Alexei, if he goes down underneath and Giambi starts to see him do that, he is going to be flat out and he's going to be able to get something on the throw. As it was, Giambi made him went in high. But the worst part about it is that he can go back now and tell his teammates, hey, you can go in high on this guy.
And that's how shortstops and second basemen have to establish the fact that you better get down. And sometimes you can tell by the look in the eye of a shortstop. And I've seen guys slide about 15 feet from the bag to avoid getting hit in the head.
Oh, I've been down quicker than that. Breaking ball.
And if he gets that one over, he's going to be doubly tough because that's one of the first sliders that he has gotten over the plate.
Sinker strike. Well, they got to cinch it up and hunker down. 2-3-0 for them, 0-2-0 for us. Good check. Then Mazaro, 22 years old.
Got a nice arm.
There's that sinker. And Jeff Cox going to make himself another friend.
Mazaro about to deliver his 69th pitch. So you'd have to figure that, all things being equal, somewhere around the 6th inning, they're going to have to go to the bullpen.
Good eye, good check by Paulie. So a full count. All 4 base hit right here, 14. See what Suzuki wants to do with it.
Well, if he throws him that little sinker inside and Paulie can keep it fair, there's plenty of room down the left field line.
And that's popped up right side. Everybody a long way to go. And nobody going to get there. So probably will get a redeemer. Adam just looking at Cunningham for most of the way. Finally.
Saying, wait, are you going to get to that? Because I can't get to it. And Cunningham was into right center field, so he wasn't going to get there. And Paul has another life.
I love cotton candy.
So do dentists.
And hit him on the fist, fouls it back. Well, get as many caps as I got.
You can't get a cavity in a cap?
No. And once again, the 3-2. And that's down 2. Jack Hanahan. So 1 out.
You know, we took for granted last year when we saw Alexei Ramirez playing second base, and as well as he played it, being a lifetime shortstop. Well, the Milwaukee Brewers did the same thing with a promising young shortstop by the name of Alcides Escobar. They moved him to second base because they have J.J. Hardy at shortstop. He made 5 errors in 7 games, and then they said, maybe you'll go back to shortstop. So what Alexei did last year was remarkable.
Well, when you figure that he started out the season in center field.
Wound his way around to second base.
I'm telling you, AJ's hit on the fist. Get out of here. It won't. Hanahan's got to play. And it's out number 2. So AJ 0 for 2. Yeah, Alexei, you can put him anywhere on the baseball field. And he's going to do a good job for you. So here's Betterman. He walked his first trip. Pulled a string on him, had him out in front. One and one to count. That ball into right field. That's can of corn for Cunningham, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Mazaro. He's retired 8 in a row. Got our Comcast Sportsnet tail of the tape, top of the 5th. It'll be Cunningham, Hanahan, and Cabrera to face Bartolo Colon. First ball, Hunting.
That's E5.
That is the 5th error by Betterman.
Tried to come up, ball stayed down.
Jack Hanahan went out to left field. Boy, Wise really short out there in center field. As Bartolo runs it outside, 1-0. Now we talk about the Sox having trouble with pitchers, young pitchers, or pitchers that they have not seen before, especially young ones. And we're seeing a little bit of that last night and tonight. Trevor Cahill started last night, went 5 2/3, gave up 2 runs on just 3 hits. So in Ben Mazzaro's major league debut, he's gone 4 innings. So in the 9 2/3 innings we faced these 2 youngsters, a 21-year-old last night, 22-year-old tonight, we have got 2 runs in 9 2/3 on 5 hits.
And the 22-year-old tonight is making his first major league start.
Two 2-0 the count. Got a pitch over this arrow. Bartolo. And the count's 3-0. There's one. Come back and get it. Second of the 3 game. Check that. Second of the 4 game set. Second of this 12-game, 11-day homestand.
So Mike Gallego, the third base coach, going through his set of signs. Cunningham doesn't have great speed, but that doesn't preclude a hit and run.
Just a short lead. Doesn't make any difference. There's ball 4. So the leadoff error and now the walk, and we're in trouble.
Watch batting practice in the first half hour of the game at your patio party. Treat your group of 20 or more guests to an unlimited buffet and drink package. Receive discounted tickets for the game. Book a patio party today. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
Orlando Cabrera looking to move these guys along. He doubled and scored in the first, grounded to second as he squares the bunt, takes the ball. Now AJ's going to have a little chit chat with Bartolo.
Well, Cabrera's trying to give you an out. And as quickly as Bartolo can get off and move to the third base line, maybe Betterment would like to stay back. They might be able to get Cunningham, who doesn't have great speed, at third.
Now Bartolo accepts the sign from AJ. Paulie will take it. So the sacrifice 3-4 gets the job done.
That was a good bunt. It left Bartolo without a play. And Paul had only one play.
So left side comes in. Jason Nix halfway. Canerco in. As Adam Kennedy will be the hitter. He had a sacrifice bunt in the first. He struck out, called out in the fourth. Leading off last inning. That ball, humpback line drive. As now, Cunningham did not get back.
Well, that was a real bad base running play and a break for us. You got to figure on that ball, and I think Bob Guerin is thinking the same thing. How's he not tagging up on this? He takes a couple of steps in. That's right at Jermaine. By the time he righted himself, there was just no chance to come back and tag up. So there was a run saved, and now Ozzy's coming out.
It's to talk about putting Cust on first base and getting to Matt Holliday. But on that play right there, certainly was a bad base running play by Aaron. But it really made it bad when he lost his balance when he hit the bag to tag up.
Well, that's not good.
That's great for us.
Yeah. But normally you're standing within a step or so of that bag, especially when you see the ball. You got a pretty good idea with the right fielder setting up that it's going right to him.
On that play right there, Stevie, all he's got to do, as soon as that ball's hit, he just goes right back to the bag.
Because if it falls in, you score. If it goes over his head, you score.
And if he drops it, you score.
And if he catches it, you still score.
No, he took those couple steps and it was all over. So now they have their meeting of the minds at the mound.
You might very well have told Bartolo, try to get him out of the strike zone. If you don't, we can always put him at first.
Well, hopefully it'll be upstairs if it's out of the zone.
Well, that one was just barely high enough because Cust took a swing to hit the scoreboard. DJ Carrasco loosening in the pen.
Count evens at 1. Ducks on the pond, 2 down here in the top of the 5th. 2-0 A's. And the count 2-1. Holiday on deck has struck out, and then he had that little Baltimore chop single. Three and 1.
This is definitely a pitch around, and now they're just going to put him on first base.
Yeah. So that'll load him up for Holiday. Third walk issued by Bartolo. First intention.
Billy Beane had a pretty good idea when he traded for Matt Holliday that with such a young pitching staff that he probably wasn't going to be in contention. And he felt that he could probably get more for him when he went to trade him toward the deadline than he gave up to get him originally.
That ball into right field, hit hard. Jermaine cannot make it. So that is going to clear the bases. And it is 5-0. So that leadoff error opened up the gates, and the A's have taken advantage of it, scoring 3 unearned runs on the error by Betterman. And it is 5-0.
This ball is on the outer portion, and Holliday takes it just over the head of Jermaine Dye. It was hit like a bullet. He drives in his 31st, 2nd, and 3rd run of the year.
So here's Giambi. He's 0 for 1 with a walk.
All of those runs unearned.
One and 1 the count. Another big rip by Giambi. 5-4-0 for them. 0-2 and a huge one. A huge one for us. Two balls, 2 strikes. Well, Holiday picked up his 8th 2-bagger at second. Damage is done. The big error on Aaron Cunningham opens up the floodgates, and the water pours through. here in the top of the 5th inning. We got to get some runs. We only have 2 hits off this young man making his major league debut. That was the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the 1st, Pides, but he got picked off at second after he stole it. And then Jermaine Dye, a base hit. He has retired the last 8 he has seen. He's got Wise, Nix, and Posednik. That's foul.
Outfield straight away and fairly deep for Dwayne. He was the second of 2 walks in the 2nd inning, but nothing came of that.
And that's can of corn into left field.
Visit your friendly neighborhood Culver's restaurant and enter the Kid of the Game sweepstakes for your chance to announce play ball from the field prior to a White Sox home game. Visit your local Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana Culver's restaurant for details.
There's Jason Nix. He lined out to center field hard. There's that slider. Well, starting yesterday, as we talked about in the pregame show, if we could get through that tough part of our schedule in April and May and be around 500, we should be in good shape. There's a base hit, solid base hit right back through the middle. Well, he has hit the ball hard twice. And starting yesterday, we came in at 1 game under at 24 and 25, but we were going to play 21 out of the next 27 games here in Chicago,
which is
the Cubs series.
Yeah, normally a very good place to play at home. Good place to play when the weather starts to heat up, and when it does in August, it'll be a good place to play.
Fakes the bunt, takes the ball.
I like Jason's approach, taking the ball back through the middle instead of trying to pull just about everything.
This ham and jam right here. That'll do it. A double play. We'll go to the 6th, trailing by 5. Magnified in this game today.
Well as the Sox have been playing, and they've been playing very well tonight, They haven't played well defensively. They haven't run the bases well, and they haven't hit well. And when that happens, usually you're going to be trailing, and that's the case tonight.
3 unearned runs in the 5th. Made it a 5-0 Oakland lead. I don't care who you're playing as that's shanked into right field. That's going to be a base hit for Suzuki. I don't care who you're playing or how poorly they have been playing. You give them extra outs and they're going to take advantage of it most of the time. So the leadoff single, that'll bring up Ryan Sweeney. Was bounced back to Bartolo and popped up to second.
And surprisingly, because he does have good speed, he leads this team in grounding into 7 double plays. And the bullpen starts to work again. So if Bartolo has any problems this inning, Ozzy's probably going to go to the pen.
Wes Whistler. Big southpaw. No, that's Gobble. Jimmy Gobble getting up. Not so big, Salt. As that has popped up. And that's out number 1.
And the numbers on Bartolo with 3 unearned runs. That makes a huge difference in this one. Especially the way that Vin Mazaro is throwing tonight.
Cunningham was the one that reached on the error by Wilson. Little grounder to Betterman's left and just couldn't come up with it. One and one to count. The ball is striking out here in the top of the 6th inning. And that's out of play. Chilly night here at the ballpark. And tomorrow evening, Clayton Richard, who has really been pitching well, he'll be opposed by 24-year-old right-hander Josh Outman. And that game will be over WCIU if you can't make it to U.S. Cellular Field. On Thursday afternoon, Mark Burley against Brett Anderson, 21-year-old right-hander, in that game right back here on Comcast Sportsnet. And let's take a peek at our Felco upcoming schedule. Here you see 2 more with the A's and 3 with Cleveland, 5. Now on Monday the 8th. Split doubleheader. Game 1 starting at 1. Game 2 starting at 7. One out, one on. And the count 2-2.
Playing Cunningham as an opposite field hitter with Dwayne Wise a couple of steps into right center.
So a full count. A fisted base hit in the hole. Suzuki will make a hard turn, pull up, go back.
This ball moving inside. Bartolo doesn't have enough on his fastball tonight to get it by him, and I believe that's going to be the last pitch that he's going to throw. Suzuki thinking that he can make it. When he saw Potts come up with it cleanly, he went back to second, and Jimmy Gobble will come into this game.
All right, so Bartolo catches some bad luck. Couldn't pitch over the era he departs at. We'll be back.
Or 100 fans to a pregame patio party buffet and enjoy the game from the warning track area. Call 312-674-1000 to book your warning track party or visit whitesox.com for more details. Jimmy Gobble comes into the game. He inherits base runners at first and second. There are the numbers. On for the 6th time, the ERA way up there.
So here's Hanahan. He has gone out to left. He has walked and he has scored. Takes first pitch strike. Outfield slightly to the left. And a breaking ball low and away, 1-1 the count.
Rains have started to fall ever so gently here at U.S. Cellular Field.
What move?
It's true.
And there's this guy.
But it's not so bad because it's a real cold rain.
Yeah. Outfield shifted well around. Now the 1-2 pitch. He gone.
And the one thing that Jimmy has been able to do so far this year is get out the left-hand hitters. And if he can turn himself into a situational left-hander, he's going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, that's why Kenny got it.
I mean, we already
Strictly
have
for left-hand.
a terrific left-handed setup man in Matt Thornton.
So here's Cabrera. Yeah, when Jimmy's ERA went off the charts in that one game, the game was already out of hand. So they left him in there to get some innings, and he just couldn't get the right-handers. And then it got to be later on in that sequence, couldn't get the left-handers either. But Kenny got him strictly for left-handed hitters. And the count 2-0. Adam Kennedy on deck. And the count 3-0. Kennedy is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Left-handed hitting second baseman. And that looked like a complete go-around right there.
Well, if he's got enough confidence to load him up thinking that he's got Kennedy in the bag, then he's a good man.
You think?
Well, I mean, if he's a situational left-hander, here's the situation.
Here it is. He created his own situation.
That's exactly right.
Outfield now spread out straight up. And he drops the curveball on him.
Just keep throwing that one.
Big slider. Sags packed with A's. And there it is. And the count 0-2.
I would order up one more of those were I AJ. In fact, I would order up as many of those as it takes to get him out.
Yeah, he's got 4 to get 1 in that same zone.
He dropped down a little bit more sidearm that time and got much more break on it. AJ did a nice job going to his left.
Two out, the 1-2 pitch. The ball hit hard. Right at Dwayne Wise, hauls it in. So Gobble pitches out of it. They strand the bases loaded. They have left 6 and they lead it 5-0.
AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
Bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Alexei, Jermaine, and Big Jim Thome face Vin Mazaro, making his major league debut.
Time to give this rookie an earned run average. He's making it look far too easy.
Alexei has looped out to second and popped up to right. Just 3 hits we have. One by Pods, one by Dye, one by Nix. And the count 2-0. And 2-1. Chases a bad pitch right there, so it's 2-2. That is the first major league strikeout for Mazaro.
Well, he's just now starting to get that slider over the plate. That one just dipped out of sight. So as the game has moved along after some early control problems, he walked 3 in the first 2 innings. And that's been it as far as the offense is concerned.
There's the breaking ball strike. Jermaine with a base hit in the first. He also has grounded to second, and that pushed in the air to right field. Cunningham coming on, and that is out number 2.
DJ
retired
Carrasco.
14 out of the last 15.
Yeah, he's been just thrown exceptionally well, and after the early wildness and the adrenaline burn off, he's starting to hit his spots.
His Big Jim has walked and gone out to left, takes ball 1. He's on top. Come on, big guy. Start us off right here. Let's get something going with 2 out. Three and 0. Canerco on deck. There's one. Touch him up. Had a pretty good pitch to hit and fouls it away left side. So a full count to Tomey. And that's into center field. Sweeney is there. And another 1-2-3 inning for the youngster. He leads it 5-0. Highlights and reaction from this game. So join Pat and Mark for a Sports Night presented by Dex tonight after Sox postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Jimmy Gobble stays in the game.
He's got 2 out of the next 3 that are left-handed. As Jack Cust is 1 for 1. Had a sacrifice fly in his first at bat. Homered in his second bat and was intentionally walked in his third at bat. Outfield straight up, spread out for the 30-year-old slugger. And the count 0-2.
We saw Breslow last night. In fact, we tacked a loss on him. And he's loosening up again in the pen.
He gone.
Another left-hander and another out. Good breaking ball, kept it low and away. Cust looks like a different hitter against a left-hand pitcher, as so often happens with many left-handers.
That is a frequently looked at picture.
It is.
As here's Holiday. He is 2 for 3. Had a strikeout, an infield single, and then a bases clearing double in the 5th inning. But all those runs were unearned. Meanwhile, they still count. One and one to Holiday. Giambi on deck. Very high, very wide, and the count 2-1. $20,519 in attendance. And the count moves to 3-1. Oh, Jimmy, come back and get it. On the fist, popped up into right center field.
Comcast and Magnum Insurance present Orgullo, Sox Night, Friday, June 5th. Enjoy a pregame concert with Latino performers, Orgullo. For tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com/Orgullo. You get plenty of tickets, Hawk.
Giambi fouls it away left side.
You can't.
Orgullo.
Yep. Just a couple of nights from now.
Ozzy's got a little something on Orgullo. Breaking ball. Pretty good breaking ball right there. Didn't get it. There's a shot. Got too much of the plate with that one. So the 2-out single by Giambi. And here comes Ozzy. So a good job by Jimmy Gobble tonight. Jimmy goes an inning and a third, giving up a hit, a walk, a couple of strikeouts. He departs, and we'll be back.
Advantage of an enclosed setting with outdoor balconies and a private seating area for your group. Visit a terrace suite today. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. Book it, Dano. DJ Carrasco comes in on for the 17th time. He's been very good out of the bullpen at 1-0, the ERA in the mid-2s. And whatever Ozzie has asked of him, he's done a whale of a job.
Well, we have two swing men down there. One a long swing man and the other a fairly short swing man. DJ, of course, is a long swing man. And Matt Thornton is a short swing man. And that hits him on the fist, makes a good pitch, and he's going to get burned by it. There's another little blooper.
That's the exact hit as he had last time.
For Suzuki. So Bobby Crosby, who's running for Giambi, moves into third on the little duck snort by Suzuki.
If you weren't around last inning, his single looked exactly like this.
Blueprint.
That's right down the line. Couldn't have thrown it out there in a better spot. And runners at the corners.
Here's Ryan Sweeney. Sweeney over 3. He's bounced back to the pitcher, popped to second, and he's popped up to short. Yes, he did. And the count 1-1.
AJ asked for the appeal. The bat looked like it went across the plate.
Short lead by Suzuki. And there's a broken bat semi-line drive to Paulie, makes the catch. 7th inning stretch. We got some work to do. And a pitching change here in the bottom of the 7th.
Bobby Crosby takes over at first base. He came in to pinch run for Giambi. He stays in the game.
Excuse me, Mazaro is still in there. They were giving us some congratulations after last inning.
Well, maybe he said he's still got a little bit left. The next pitch will be his 100th.
Well, managers like that. especially from youngsters.
Sure do. Especially with a 5-0 lead.
That is fisted by Paulie, just fouled. Dadgummit. They're getting back to Arguello. A new column, the third of the season by Ozzie, posted yesterday on arguellosox.com/Ozzie. And Mike Leary, our producer, Googled it and found out that it looks like Arguello means pride. Paulie deep into center field. Stretch, get on back there. Sweeney right at the 400-foot mark, runs into the wall to haul it down for a long out off the bat of Konerko.
We'll take a look at Ryan Sweeney as he goes back. He's measuring this ball all the way. He turns the wrong way, but at the end of the day,
puts his face right into that middle O.
He gets a face plant, but he also makes the catch.
So here is AJ. Looks at that one downstairs. AJ is grounded to short and fouled out to Hanahan at third. And the count 3-0.
The bullpen now getting ready in a hurry for the A's.
That is the fourth walk issued by Mazaro. First one since the second inning.
Wes Whistler, the Sox bullpen.
That's a big man, 6'5", 240 pounds. Out of Noblesville, Indiana.
And that's going to be it on a fine night's work for Vin Mazaro.
All right. Mazaro in his major league debut gets a nice round of applause from a lot of the fans in the stands. He departs. Laszlo comes on and we'll be back. You'll see all the highlights, get Bill Melton's analysis, plus listen in on Ozzie's post-game remarks. It's always fun. So don't miss U.S. Cellular White Sox post-game live immediately following our game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Greg Breslow comes into the game, overall 1-4. 5.14 ERA with Oakland, 0-2 with a 2.70 ERA.
First pitch strike to Wilson Betterman. Wilson walked and went out to right field. And very quickly the count 0-2. Tries to ace him right on the outside corner, just misses. Nice try by Breslow.
He's got a pretty decent fastball. That one was 91. He didn't miss by much.
Blueprint. And the count 2-2. As you see, Brad Ziegler. Breslow, as we mentioned last night, in case you missed that game, graduate of Yale and Eli, and majored in molecular biochemistry. That breaking ball's inside. So a full count after being down 0-2. Let's get something going here with one out. Put 2 or 3 on the board and give them a scare, and then come back in the 8th and 9th and put some more on. There's a Matabatacoa right there for a double play. That didn't take long, and we'll go to the 8th. All right, our Chuck Garfien.
He is indeed our Chuck Garfien.
Aaron Cunningham takes ball 1 from Carrasco. Aaron 1 for 3. Chopped a base hit in the hole between third and short. That's into the gap in right center field. Somebody's got to go. And he did go. Nice play by Wise, who was playing shallow as usual. Wow, nice catch.
A lot of ground to close. And the last time we saw him close this much ground, unfortunately, he dove for the ball and separated his shoulder. This time he just ran the ball down and made a fine play in right center.
One thing about him, he will play as shallow as almost anybody in this league. There's Hanahan, 0 for 2, but he has walked and he has scored. Two 2-0 the count. There's the strike. The 29-year-old veteran third baseman. And that's into left field. Scotty Pides coming on, makes the catch. And that's out number 2.
2 fine plays here in the 8th inning.
So here is Cabrera. Orlando doubled and scored in the first. Grounded to second in the third. He also had a sacrifice bunt and a walk. Big hook right there. Buckled his knees a little bit. And the count 0-2. Drop down, breaking ball off the end of the bat. Nice pitch, nice inning for DJ once again. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Schedule hitters are Wise, Nix, and Posednik.
And it started early for Oakland. Good pickoff move at second base. They cut down Scott Posednik. And then Ryan Sweeney turned in a gem, robbing Paul Konerko.
Brian Anderson is announced for Dwayne Wise, and here comes Bob Guerin, the manager, to make a pitching change.
Brad Ziegler coming into the game at 0-1. His ERA 3.92, on for the 20th time, and he has 5 saves. This, of course, a non-save situation. Left-handers usually have good luck with him. Right-handers, not so much.
Ball 1 to Bryan from the 29-year-old right-hander out of Springfield, Missouri. And there's the strike.
What a year he had last year. He was 3-0. His ERA, a minuscule 1.06.
And he is certainly not going to overpower you. So for you youngsters out there, you don't have to throw hard to pitch in the major leagues.
This throw under the hitting speed. It was 83 and sinking. Little breaking ball there, catches the inside corner. It's a breaking ball that appeared to be a touch inside.
It was inside. Tom Hallion thought it caught the inside corner. So one out. And here's Jason Nix, who has hit the ball hard twice tonight. In fact, we only hit against Mazaro 3 balls hard. Pides led off the bottom of the first with a sharp single to center. Then in the second, Jason Nix lined hard to center, and then Jason with a hard single up the middle in the 5th. 0-2 to count. These Submariners, they throw that little breaking ball they can throw. They know, as a rule, it's just going to be a little one. Looks like a frisbee coming.
They're pretty tough because the ball moves all over the place.
There's a base hit in the hole.
Good piece of hitting, and it's been a good night for Jason Nix. That ball is out away. He reaches out, just takes it right through the left side. So he's gone back up the middle twice and pulled that ball. And he finds himself with a 2 for 3 night.
Pides is 1 for 3. Stole second, but as you saw, was picked off. And that is laced into left field. Nice catch right there by Holiday, who comes on and makes the play.
Phil Cuzzy went out there, and credit him with some hustle on this play because he went out to take a good look at it. And Holiday made a nice play. Takes this one right off the grass.
So here's Alexei. He's gone to collar tonight. 0 for 3. Takes it inside. And once again, a reminder, make your plans to be with us tomorrow night. 3rd of this 4-game set. Clayton Richard against Josh Outman. Outman, 24-year-old right-hander.
Been pretty good this year. Undefeated with an ERA a touch over 3. And there are the matchups for the final 2 games of the series.
Down to third base. Hanahan gets a bowling book bounce, throws him out, and that'll do it. We'll go to the 9th. It is 5-0 Athletics.
Brian Anderson stays in the game to play center field, and Wes Whistler comes in. This is his major league debut. Started 10 games at AAA.
There's numbers 5 and 3, 281. Big man, as I mentioned, 26 years old, 6'5", 240 pounds, out of Noblesville, Indiana. Started off his professional career as a hitter back in '04 at Kannapolis. In fact, he went to UCLA. Quite a career. As that pitch way back, and the count 2-0. Also was named Indiana's Mr. Baseball in '01 at Noblesville High School. After hitting .440 with 15 homers and 35 ribbies.
That was pretty good. Then they threw him the curveball.
The old equalizer.
He decided to move out to the mound.
And there's his first major league strike to count 3-1. So he walks Adam Kennedy, his first major league hitter. 5th walk issued by Sox pitching. If you're just tuning in, starters Bartolo Colon, and then Mazaro. Here's Cust. He is 1 for 2 with a homer, a sacrifice fly, an intentional walk, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Only 1 to count. They got a shift on for Cust. That's into center field. That's a can of corn for Brian. 1 down. For our guys in the bottom half of the 9th, Dye, Tomey, Konerko, Pierzynski, and hopefully a whole bunch more. Sox have been doing a lot of late inning scoring, and maybe we can catch fire one more time. They scored 4 in the 8th last night. And the day before, scored 2 in the top of the 9th. As he tried to call time, didn't get it, and the count 0-1. Meanwhile, Kennedy's at second with a stolen base. Did not check it up.
Didn't have to appeal it because Tom Hallion called it a strike on the swing.
And that pitch misses. Gap out there in left center. Halladay, that big bases loaded double back in the 5th, knocking in 3. All were unearned. He gone. He knew it.
Well, at least his first major league strikeout was a good one. That ball on the outside corner catches Halladay looking.
So here's Bobby Crosby making his first plate appearance. Came on to run for Giambi back in the 7th inning. Takes ball 1. pulled the string on him, had him way out in front. This guy looked like he was going to be some kind of player.
Well, he got hurt a lot.
A ton.
And he just never really did what they thought he was going to do. So they gave him an opportunity, but now it's Cabrera at shortstop.
Fouls that down in the count 1-2. Yeah, he had a chance to be a real good offensive player. That's low. Hit 22 home runs twice. Once in the minor leagues, once in Oakland. And that ball gets away from AJ.
It's got a chance of being a pass ball. Take another look at it. AJ going out to have a word with him. Could very well be he was crossed up. And I believe he was crossed up because you don't go after that kind of pitch that way unless you are crossed up.
He was definitely crossed up.
Yep. And Bob Rosenberg calls it a wild pitch on this his 2000th game.
Changes up. He'll grab some bench, and that'll retire the side. So he walks his first hitter in the big leagues and has a couple of strikeouts. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. We need 5 to tie.
Is loaded. They had pitched around Cust. And Matt Holliday drives one over the head of Jermaine Dye, drives in 3 runs, all unearned, but nonetheless it's the Dodge drive of the game. And unfortunately, Hawk, this has not been to this point the Sox night in really any category.
Well, he's got the heart of the order to go through, but in the 2 pitchers, the 2 young pitchers we have seen last night, Cahill and now Mazaro, we faced him 12 innings. We got 2 runs off of them and 6 hits in the 12 innings.
I think you can see why Oakland is very excited about their young pitching staff.
Jermaine takes ball 1. He is 1 for 3. That's top foul. But of course, with our club the last couple of seasons, again, it seems like every time we don't know somebody, it's just they have good outings against us.
What's happened most of this season.
That's inside. 2-1. That's back to the middle base hit, so that's a good start. Rides Davis will pick it up, get it back in.
Jermaine stays right with it and takes it right back up the middle, and Ziegler got the ball up. Normally, Submariners want to keep that ball down. He didn't do it, cost him a base hit.
And here's Tommy. Jimmy is 0 for 2 tonight. He also has a walk. Outfield around to the left. The infield shifted around. Now time is called. Crosby, they want him behind Jermaine Dye, but close behind. This should be. Back him up quickly. 2 gone. Third double play turn by the A's. And if you're just tuning in, Bartolo Colon pitched for us. Bartolo, it was a struggle tonight, but he didn't pitch that poorly. He went 5 1/3, gave up 5 runs, only 2 earned. A big error in the 5th inning cost him those 3 unearned runs. Gave up 6 hits, 3 walks, 1 intentional, had 4 strikeouts.
It just was a very impressive outing by Vin Mazaro, and he still does not have an ERA after his first 6 1/3 innings of major league work.
2-0 the count to Paulie. Paulie just missed a home run his last time up, taking Ryan Sweeney back up against that 400-foot mark, and I mean literally, figuratively, in every way you want it. He got a face full of that white paint out there. As there's the strike. Clayton Richard against Josh Outman tomorrow, so make your plans to be with us at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. Pitch is fouled back. So 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Down to our last bullet. Watch out. Almost clipped him. So full count with A.J. on deck.
Only able to get out of the way, but this one is right at it. And the only advantage for tonight is that Boston took care of Detroit.
And a 4-game winning streak looks like it's going to come to an end. They also have won 10 out of the last 13. As he's out and around that one, hooks it. So the count hangs full. Ball 4. So the 2-out walk will give A.J. a chance to keep it going. There's the strike. A.J. grounded to short, fouled out to third, and he walked back in the 7th. One and 1 to count. And that misses the inside corner. Not a whole bunch The Submariners have been consistently successful over the years, but that one in Kansas City is there's a ground ball. Bobbled. And now they get to force a second, and this ball game is over. So the Sox, for the 7th time this year, get shut out. And Stevie, Bartolo was struggling but kept his club in the ball game up until the 5th in that era when they scored 3 unearned runs.
That turned out to be a big one because